most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
I love PETA. Lisbet Chirboga is joining me here today. And, when I think about Lisbet and I think about what Lisbet is doing, and you take a look at what it means to be a program manager of Teach Kind at PETA, what you have now is a change in consciousness and behavior both. And this is really what we can count on. PETA is an organization that looks after and protecting our animals. So yes, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. That's PETA. But what is Teach Kind? So here's the thing I love. My dad used to tell me, look, I could go fishing for you or I could teach you how to fish. Now, I don't think that was an original thought from Dad, but it's the same idea. Lisbet, great to have you.
Hello, Pat. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
I love that this is a teaching program. I love that this is an educational program. And I think that's how we transfer knowledge. I want to ask you this question. When I think about Teach Kind and I think about the creation of it, of course, you all have done that. But what is in your heart about this program? That's what I want to know.
Oh, wow. Well, Teach Kind, as you mentioned, is the Humane Education Division at PETA.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're also celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. So
Yay!
we're very excited about that.
Yay!
But now, I was a teacher. I was a classroom teacher myself in New York for 12 years before I came to work at PETA about 5 years ago. And I've always incorporated compassion for animals into the curriculum. And the beautiful thing about humane education is that it's about the connections between our having empathy for animals, having consideration for the environment, and for other humans as well. So it's all connected. So it's a win-win. This type of education is a win-win for animals, for humans, and for the earth, really.
Yeah. And what I love about it is that this is something that when you all do it, and congratulations on 20 years, we have ours next year. Congratulations on that. Yeah. I mean, most people thought we'd last 20 minutes, but I guess you've heard that too, right? That's so funny. But let's talk about this because I've often wondered in my own journey, how being educated has helped me shift my perspective and my heart. Isn't that what you are also doing? Isn't this also about education so that we understand what cruelty to animals are and get underneath what's being done about it so that we can hopefully stop it?
Yes, absolutely. It's about a shift in mindset, as you're alluding to. At Teach Kind, we're all former classroom teachers, so we understand the school environment, and we also know we understand the expectations on teachers and students, but we also know what's possible. When children learn kindness to animals, they take a key step toward rejecting all forms of violence and bullying. And Dr. Pratt, this is more important now than ever, considering all the challenges students have faced during the pandemic, which are now being manifested with increased antisocial behaviors in schools around the country.
Yeah, yeah.
We've heard reports just this week about teens in Florida who gutted a shark and hung the animal by the rafters at the school. Teens beat a dog to death in Tennessee. Other teens flushed a live squirrel down a toilet in a school in Colorado. These cases, sadly, are not isolated incidents.
Yeah.
We hear about these reports constantly, and we've created a website to call attention to this. It's called kidshurtinganimals.peta.org. And I'll say that again, it's kidshurtinganimals.peta.org. And, you know, we know that young people who abuse animals will often go on to commit violence against humans.
Yeah.
We saw this in 2018 after media reported the Parkland, Florida shooter had earlier posted about killing animals. And now similar reports are surfacing about the 2021 Oxford, Michigan school shooter torturing animals. In fact, Dr. Pat, research shows that 43% of school shooters harmed animals before the schoolyard massacres.
Yeah.
So we really need to take every single instance of cruelty to animals by children and teens as a huge red flag. We urgently need to help young people find things to care about, which will then empower them to take compassionate action to help the world and not hurt others. And Dr. Peck, we know that kids love animals. So it's the lowest hanging fruit that schools can take advantage of right now. Incorporating compassion for animals into the curriculum is easy, and it will not take away from instructional time. In fact, it will actually enhance it.
Yeah.
And anyone can visit teachkind.org for free access to our resources.
Well, look, I love that we're talking about this, and you're absolutely right. The other thing I want to also say in support of what you just mentioned is that the occurrences we know about are the tip of the iceberg, because those are the reported occurrences. And so what's very clear to me is, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. The question really is, how can we do what you're doing and really nip this early? There are three things that I love about this, because even if you educate a wide group of people, there will be others that are kind to animals, and they will be able to observe it and hopefully stop it. But we also have to understand what the motivation is, right?
Sure.
This is really, for me, you're right. We're coming out of 3 years of what I call desocialization. And what we've learned about it is that, for lack of a better word, Lisbet, boredom or something of that nature is really causing young people to seek a different adrenaline. And by educating and preventing, that is the way we can pay this forward and spread this widely. Isn't that part of what you're doing, being on the show here for me today?
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, I was a teacher in New York. I taught in the South Bronx. And I've seen apathetic students with difficult behavioral issues become the fiercest protectors of animals, which then led to more empathy for their peers. So I've seen this firsthand. I remember, I remember many anecdotes from my time teaching in the Bronx, but one in particular showing a puppy mill rescue to a class of fifth graders. And the images were, you know, very moving. Rescuers using tools to cut open the cages to free dogs because the cages had been rusted shut. And a boy raised his hand to joke about how another boy had cried during the video. And I explained that it was okay to cry because it just showed you were compassionate and caring. And as soon as I said this, Dr. Pat, a bunch of other hands went up to say they cried too. Now, the important thing to remember here is that these were kids who lived in the project, and they had rough lives and were not used to being able to let their guard down and show their emotions.
Yeah.
So what I realized we had done, we had created a safe space for these children to show their empathy. And that's why humane education helps both animals and children. But you don't need to cry in order to be a compassionate person. The key thing is to create those safe spaces so that young people can show their empathy. If they don't ever get to practice showing empathy, that is what can lead them down a dangerous path. So we encourage educators to tap into children's empathy with a topic they're naturally interested in, which is animals.
Well, look, I'm a kid from the Bronx. I'm a kid from the South Bronx and middle sections of Bronx. So I had my time in the projects. And you're absolutely right, because when you grow up in that environment, you're not given permission to show vulnerability. And, and there's a very good reason. I mean, I don't want to get into that story. I've talked about it a lot, but there are reasons for that. That doesn't mean that compassion doesn't exist within young people. And that's really what you're going after, isn't it?
Exactly. But the beautiful thing, Dr. Pat, is that this actually this type of curriculum can motivate students academically as well, which is I've also seen firsthand as a teacher. And now groundbreaking research has been done to show how it can boost reading comprehension. Teach Kind rescue story texts were used in a study with 200 middle schoolers and found that students who read the animal rescue stories performed significantly better on Common Core line questions. Wow. So it's not just reading about animals, but reading about how to help them that makes the difference. And at teachkind.org, we offer rescue story texts for all grade levels from K to 12 for free.
I love that you every time I talk with you, I'm so impressed about the fact that we're talking about something in the heart, but we're also talking about the amount of research you do to bring the data and the information together, because you're right about that. I mean, there is a level by which we have to come forward. And in order to convince people that may be skeptical or don't believe it, this is the reality of this. And, your goal, right, is to thousands of educators across the U.S. to help incorporate this kindness into the curriculum. What's your vision? Where do you see this a year from now, if I might ask you?
Oh, wow. Well, I tell you, Dr. Pat, just in the past year, interest in Teach Kind's resources has been booming. So I have a lot of hope. I have a lot of hope because I talk to a lot of teachers. I work with different school districts around the country, from, California, New York, but also rural Ohio, rural Mississippi. And, we find common ground with schools. And I love hearing from teachers, especially nowadays in pandemic teaching, that once I consult with them and I give them some guidance about how to incorporate these kinds of resources into their curriculum, they tell me that it rejuvenates them and reminds them why they got into teaching in the first place. And I love that because, we're having, teachers are leaving and wanting to leave the profession. So we want to keep, teachers who are still passionate about teaching, we want to keep them in the profession. And this is a way to do that as well. So it's really a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
And if I could just plug a few of our resources, we have many, but we have an empathy building program at the elementary level called Share the World that shows children that the golden rule of treating others the way you wish to be treated applies to all living beings, not just humans. And our social justice themed curriculum for the secondary level called Challenging Assumptions empowers young people to challenge societal norms and really inspires them to have empathy for others, regardless of species, race, gender, sexual identity, or ability. And they include thought-provoking lessons, inspiring videos, and they're also available digitally and all for free at teachkind.org.
Lisbet, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. I do have one last question for you. I would love to know your personal message. I would like to know what you'd like to leave us all with. And again, please give out that website one more time.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to impress upon people that compassion for animals in a curriculum is a win for students who will learn to care even more about animals. It's a win for teachers and parents who are looking for meaningful educational activities for children, and a win for the animals who will benefit from smarter, more caring humans. And all our free learning resources are available at teachkind.org. And you can also check out feed.org for even more ways to help animals in your own neighborhood or around the world.
I love it. Hey, everybody, a great initiative here. So needed. Please pay it forward. Lisbet, thank you so much again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pat. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. This is so very important. It gets the core of really heartfelt. It gets the core of how to treat animals well. It gets at the core of how to prevent other things from happening in a young person's future. Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back.
Not just talk, conversation for profound self-awareness. Stick with us. Your best life awaits on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's so great to have you tune us in and turn us on. Welcome to both of you. It's great to have you here.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, I understand that this is also personal for each of you. And I watched my friend who was the strongest person on the planet, an Olympian. And it was one of the most heartbreaking things I've seen. And at the time, the science was the best it could be. Dr. Luke, I would love to start off with you, and then Kyleigh, then you. I want to know, how far have we progressed in a 3 to 5 year period from where we were then when Sherry was alive to where we are today?
Well, absolutely. Well, thanks again so much for having us. I'm Jason Luke. I'm a medical doctor that takes care of patients with melanoma, but also a researcher and a consultant to companies like Bristol Myers Squibb that are developing new medicines. And I really take to heart your story about your friend. And, again, in my practice, I fortunately have both sides of the coin and have been through with many families through a journey similar to what you're referring to. I think as we think about the progress that we have made, especially over the last several years, I think it's really been at the nexus of better understanding genomics, like the DNA that's involved with abnormal cancers, and the immune system response in terms of what are the limiting factors for allowing the immune system to kick in and actually fight melanoma.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's important to put in context that, just for everybody, metastatic melanoma means melanoma that has spread throughout the body from wherever it started, usually on the skin. And in that scenario, then, it's not something that can be removed by surgery. And rather than, we're going to be thinking about giving medicines to try to control the melanoma and hopefully make it go away, for as long as possible. And so we've had a lot of new treatments developed over the last 10 to 15 years, but I think probably the most insightful and most important observation has been the recognition that most people with melanoma have had the immune system kick in and actually is trying to fight the melanoma, but just kind of can't get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that because if we remove the melanoma, we can actually find immune cells in the melanoma most of the time. And those immune cells then are being limited by certain factors or proteins that the cancer is using to keep the immune system at bay. So this is where a lot of the new insights are coming, is trying to identify what are those limiting immune system blocking proteins. And so this new medicine we're going to talk about, Opdualag, is very exciting as a dual immunotherapy. It tries to bring to bear blocking of multiple of these immune proteins that we think by blocking them, we can release the natural immune system to go after the cancer.
That, first of all, thank you for explaining that, and thank you for your commitment and your dedication. It goes beyond anything we can say. Kyleigh, I want to ask you the same question, from your perspective on what you've seen and what the changes are. And basically what I'm trying to say is there are some things that are changed that bring you to the very fact that you are here talking with us today. And so what is your perspective? What do you see as being sort of the progress that really gets you fired up?
Absolutely. Well, Pat, thank you so much for having us on. And I'm truly sorry about your friend. That was I'm sure, very, very hard for you, and appreciate you advocating on her behalf. Having us on, especially during Melanoma Awareness Month, is really impactful. This is the month where we can get the word out about melanoma prevention and early detection. And here at the MRF, we have a campaign called #GetNaked, which encourages people to check their own skin for changes and see a board certified dermatologist. So I would be remiss if I didn't give a plug for prevention and early detection, because that is the one good thing about melanoma. If it's caught early, your success rate is much, much better. And speaking to the progress, here at the MRF, our job is to accelerate melanoma research, educate patients and families, and advocate on their behalf. And a big part of that education is educating them on options. And while we have come a great distance over the last 10 to 12 years, which Dr. Luke touched on with the many therapies that are available now, we still have people that don't respond to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
We still have people that don't have good outcomes. So when there is a new treatment option available, it brings incredible hope to the melanoma community for patients and their families, because it's another tool that they could use that might work for them, which is incredibly hopeful.
And, and if for both of you to join me here today, it's an honor as well. And, it brings me to the conversation, and thank you so much, Dr. Luke, for giving us your background. But you're on the front lines, and I would love to hear from each of you. If you had to pick your top 3 ways that treatment has changed, which are your top 3 that you're most excited about? Dr. Luke, would you like to go first?
Well, sure, absolutely. And I think that this can be a very, far-ranging discussion about melanoma, but I'm going to really kind of focus it on patients who have advanced or metastatic disease. And I think what I'd say to that regard is one of the first, biggest advancements has really been sort of the development of these combination immunotherapies. And so this Opdualag that we're talking about is really kind of the leading edge of that. But it's very exciting to think about trying to harness the immune system to really release it to be able to fight the cancer. And so that's one way. And then the second way would be integrating what we call genomics. So better understanding the actual DNA of each individual patient's tumor, because that can sometimes give us insights as to which treatments might be preferentially beneficial for individual types of patients. And then a third area that I'll talk about, I think, is really our increasing understanding of the role for sort of healthy living around optimizing the outcomes for patients. And so, whereas for a long time there has been a lot of discussion about, diet, exercise, et cetera, on a more molecular level, we're starting to better understand what exactly that means. And a lot of research is starting to suggest that there may be adjuncts to the way that we give this current cancer treatments. Now, I wouldn't say that these are ready for prime time usage per se yet, but just merely the fact that we're making progress in those regards, so it goes to that holistic care of the patient in a way that we can direct people to do more than just coming to our clinics to receive cancer therapy, and perhaps change the way that they're living to enhance their cancer treatment. So I would outline all 3 of these areas: immunology, molecular biology, as well as healthy living, as ways that the cancer field has really come around over the last few years. And I'm just very excited about the way that that's going to change even more in the next few years.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because, my own healing journey, while it was not melanoma, I discovered what you just said, and that is the incredible power of a holistic approach. Everything from what you put in your body to what you put on your body. And I'm so excited that you actually brought that to the forefront, because it is so important. Kyleigh, how about you? What's your sense of this?
Yeah, I think all of the points that Dr. Luke touched on were really, really important. I think, at the MRF, our biggest mission, is really to educate patients. And because an educated patient is an empowered patient. And the approval that we're talking about today, this new treatment option, came about because patients participated in clinical trials. And to date, we have over 500 clinical trials for melanoma patients, which is really exciting. And I would just encourage people to really educate themselves about the options that they have available, and to get second opinions if if they need them, and to empower themselves with information about the disease and about what is currently available. Because I think that is when patients have really good outcomes, is when they have the information they need to make those informed decisions.
I want to ask you both again, can we talk for a minute about what some of the signs are? Because I think this is a little bit of a problem for people, that they don't really understand the signs, right? They don't understand, maybe I'm having something going on, but they never connect the dots that it might be advanced melanoma or melanoma, right, doctor?
Well, absolutely. But I think this tracks back to sort of that discussion about prevention. So if we're all actually getting our annual, skin checkups, then, catching melanomas early, I think, can be very important. But even after someone is diagnosed with melanoma, continuing to have those checkups is important, to find for any signs that something bad could be happening. And I guess what I'd say to it is, melanoma can act in many, many different ways. And so after someone is diagnosed with a melanoma, they should be vigilant and just keep an eye out that if something is unusual, they should bring it to the attention of their provider sooner than later, because melanoma can really present in many, many different ways, which is slightly different than some other kinds of cancer, which have more standard patterns in the way that they present. With melanoma, we kind of say anything goes. So if there's an unusual symptom for someone who has previously been diagnosed with a melanoma, please be sure to get that checked out as quickly as you can.
And please give folks the website again. I want to make sure everybody is fully aware of how they can find out more.
Sure. And the website for the Melanoma Research Foundation is melanoma.org. And to your point, Pat, earlier about checking your skin, we have a self-skin check guide as one of our resources, which really teaches people how to check their own skin and what to look for if they notice something is changing or it doesn't look normal. So that website is melanoma.org. And again, for the treatment that we're referencing today, that's optilag.com, where people can find out more information about the treatment and information.
Great. I have one last question for each of you. First of all, I want to thank you for joining me here today. But I also would like to know what your personal message is. I would love to know what you want to leave everyone with here today.
Well, I would make just a couple of quick comments. One is to reinforce prevention. So make sure you're getting your sunscreen on, your preventative clothing, et cetera, and get your derm checks. The second message that I put out is that there is a lot of hope for patients who have advanced or metastatic melanoma, with many new treatments coming forward, and Opdualag, this new treatment, being one of the most exciting. So I'd really pin it on both sides. We want to prevent melanoma, but we're also very excited about the different treatments that are being developed to try to help treat this disease.
Thank you. And Kyleigh, how about you?
Yeah, and I agree with everything Dr. Luke just said. I think the only thing I would add, and this is a common misconception, is that melanoma does not discriminate by age, race, or gender. Everyone is at risk. Everyone. So it's really important to incorporate those annual skin checks, just as you would go to the dentist. So if May is your reminder to do so, we just encourage everyone to make that appointment and get their skin checked. It could save their life.
Let's take a short break, everybody. Lots of information. Please check it out. Thank you all. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Boss Up Babes, helping babes show up, boss up, and thrive. With #1 best-selling author, global influencer, and ultimate boss babe, Carissa Adkins. Carissa is a health and wellness expert and CEO of the 365 Daily Hustle, here to help mompreneurs and career-focused women boss up and reclaim their healthiest life. She is a pro at cutting through the BS and inspiring massive breakthroughs that help women create healthy routines and habits that facilitate personal and professional growth. Are you ready to reclaim your best life, take action, and be a boss babe? Let's get to it.
What up? What up? Welcome, guys. Welcome back to another awesome episode of Boss Up Babes. I am your host, Carissa Atkins, your champion for all things habit, fitness, health, and happiness. And oh my gosh, I'm actually really, really excited for today's conversation because it's right in my wheelhouse. It's everything that I like preach, teach, and encourage women to do. So if you guys are looking, if you love my attitude, first off, my no BS approach to life and this show, please take time and follow me, right? Like me on I guess follow me on all my social channels, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all that great stuff. I'm out there. If you have ever any health questions, fitness, nutrition, mindset, like if you are needing help and support in any one of those ways or directions, you guys, please send me a DM, right? Send me an email. I personally answer all of those. Ask our guest today. That's how we actually met, was in the DMs, in the chat. So it's kind of fun. But you guys, you're listening again to the Boss Up Babes, podcast show. We are on over 50 different listening platforms. We are international. Not only is this live radio, so hello live audience, but we are, of course, podcasting. And then we turn this awesome podcast into a TV show, of course. So then you can literally watch this on motivationandsuccesstv.com on any of your favorite listening devices. So Boss Up Babes, right? If you're kind of new to the show, Boss Up Babes is a place where women can really tap into inspiration, to get great advice and tips and strategies to help you boss up to the next level of awesomeness. But before I dive in, before I bring on our fantastic guest, I do just have to say, I absolutely love these little earrings that I know it's hard to see. And if you're listening, you can't even see these at all, but go back and try and watch them. But they're just so cute. First off, it's a company I came across. It's called Ana Luisa. And if you use the link below, you can obviously claim 20% off. But I love this jewelry. I wear them when I work out. I wear them when I sleep. If it ain't my big old hoops, it's something cute and dainty. And I love that it is 14 karat gold. It's very quality. And I can really tell a difference in my ears, obviously. That crap that I used to buy when I was 14 from the stores, it used to hurt my ears. And I didn't even realize they're in anymore. So if you're looking to spoil yourself with a little something, something this week, go ahead and get yourself 20% off over at analuisa.com. You guys, that's ANALUISA.com/boss-up to receive that discount. But anyways, you guys, into the meat and potatoes. I just want you to close your eyes unless you're driving and listening. But I want you to just picture yourself, right? Picture yourself on a beach, enjoying the sunrise, listening to a guided meditation that really allows you to boss up to the next level of awesomeness, right? Taps you into the universe's biggest power for you. I want you to imagine listening to the ocean, right? The water coming in and out. I want you to literally imagine the breeze that you could feel on your face while sitting on the beach. Today, we are talking to the amazing Krista Swenson. And Krista is the CEO and boss babe, in my opinion, of Fit Vacay. And we're talking all about how you can recharge, reboot, and relax in 2022 with all-inclusive 5-star luxury resorts. So with that, let me take a quick hot second to introduce my guest. Krista has been involved with both the fitness and the travel industries for the last 20 years. So she's not a stranger to fitness or vacations. She has recently combined her passion into her business, right? She took fitness and she took vacations and she married them together, which is how she, created Fit Vacay. She is partnering with trainers and coaches all across the world, myself included. And she's putting together these amazing resorts for women to come together to collaborate to, again, reboot, recharge, and stay, of course, on top of their health and well-being. Her journey to becoming this fantastic entrepreneur boss babe. I can't wait to dive in. It's a really exciting story. I fell in love with her the minute she sent me a DM. So with that, Krista, welcome to the Boss Up Babe show.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me, Carissa. This is really exciting.
Absolutely. Because we do stream live, you're like, Carissa, you're in fitness clothes. I thought it would be totally appropriate to kind of rock the guns today for this show, because that's what it's all about, right? And it's not just
So I should take my jacket off.
Feel free. We are sexy women in charge of our fitness and our health and our well-being, and I am not afraid to show that off. So thank you for being on the show and taking time
Here we go.
out of your busy day. I do have a random question to get us started, though. So I want to know, how do you show your self-love? Like, what is something you do that really shows yourself some love?
Great question. And this is the year of self-love, I think, and self-care. You know, we've been through such a crazy time these last few years. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, during the last couple of years, I just had a mind shift change. Like, I used to have to work out. Like, it was a chore. I had to do it. And then if I didn't, I felt like I failed. Right. Sure. And I just switched that light switch to now I don't have to work out. I actually get to. Like, I have a privilege that I actually have a body that will allow me to push myself in the gym or in my home gym. And whether it's weights or cardio or even some yoga, stretching, that's kind of how I treat myself right now and take care of myself, because just switching that mindset, I enjoy it more.
Yeah.
I can feel the benefits more. Like, I do sleep better. You know, I am less stressed, but I also feel the changes more. You know, and if I don't see the changes that I want, I'm not focused on it. I'm focused on how I feel, not necessarily what the scale says or right. You know, where that's what I always focused on before. Right. So it's just a different shift in mind that is allowing me to really enjoy the time that I take to take care of myself in the fitness, health, wellness arena.
Love that. Yeah, you guys, if you didn't catch that, right, her way of self-love right now is body movement, not for the weight, not to see any specific maybe gains that would come up, but for the mental side of what fitness brings to her, that clarity, that peace, that less stress, less anxiety, which is something we could every single one of us could be using a little bit more of right now. I know I literally have listeners who, you know, they feel like they get 10, 20, 30 steps in, and then COVID hit or something else in their life hit, you know, surgery or some kind of, you know, loss. And they feel like they go 10 steps back. And sometimes that can keep them stuck. And instead of reframing that of like, okay, well, I may have felt like I went 10 steps back. The reframe is, okay, but today I get to choose to take a new step in a better direction, right? You always have a choice you can either say like, I'm going to boss up today and I'm going to do thing, or I'm going to sit in my misery and just like, whoa, pity party is me. And that's not fun, y'all. That is not fun. If that's where you are at, please choose to boss up today. Do something for yourself today. My husband's gone. He's active duty. He's gone right now, but I bought myself some beautiful flowers this week. So that's myself some love. But anyways, yeah. So I want to know, you know, how did you, right? 20 years into fitness, 20 years into traveling. Yeah. How did you marry them together? How did you turn your passion for fitness and travel into a profitable business?
Oh, yeah, it's been a long time coming. So another thing there is it's never too late. You know, it's never too late to find that passion and to act upon it or to even start a business. But I actually had no idea what I wanted to do with my life when I was, you know, in high school. And I had a friend's sister who was like, she went to travel school. She got her degree in travel management. I'm like, oh, well, that sounds fun. I'll do that. You know, I don't know. So I did get my degree in travel business management. And then during that same time, I had my first child. So she's 24. So it's been a long time. But during that time, I was active as a, you know, young teen. But once I had my first child, just like many other moms, it was so hard to lose that baby weight. And that's what introduced me to fitness and the gym. And from there, I started, you know, I was a personal trainer for a little bit, but my big majority of my fitness experience was in teaching group fitness. And I think I liked that just because I love being able to help other women reach their goals or push harder, or, you know, overcome things that they didn't think they could. And I probably wanted that because I was challenged with that myself.
Right.
So to see others be able to do it, then I can do it too. Yeah. So I taught fitness for, on and off the last 20 years. I had a day job that was outside travel and fitness, but somehow I always, had my foot in travel or in fitness. And then a couple of years ago, I decided to get back into travel. I did work in corporate travel many years ago, and I always wanted to own my own agency. Mm-hmm. So I figured, why not? It's, no better time than now. So I started my little travel business. And just like anybody else with a business, you kind of have to find your niche. And I was having a hard time finding that niche, like I didn't want to just be a run-of-the-mill travel agent. I wanted to bring something special, something that people wanted and that they needed. Yeah. And I was like, I just recently hung up my mic from teaching fitness. And I thought, why not do both? Like in one. Why not? Exactly. Why choose? And the great thing is what I'm going to focus on kind of the travel part of it, but I get to team up with people like you who are the fitness pros. Mm-hmm. And so I just get a benefit from the wonderfulness that you are and still be in that arena, so it just was perfect. As soon as it came to me, it clicked. And now at almost 46 years old, my birthday's in a couple of weeks, I am finally on the path that, I was always searching for.
I love that, and it really is. It's like interesting how God puts it all together, right? Like you went and got like, first off, like I didn't even realize you could go to school for like a track. Like I just thought you went out and got like you took a test.
That was way back when.
Now I just get to travel on discounts. Like that's what I would do it for. But then it was just, like the dabbling in like the whole fitness arena, group fitness. I definitely share my love for that. That's where I started, right? I remember trying to lose all the weight, and this whole thing, like this cardio was like, this just sucks. Like I hated being on this cardio machine for 30 to 45 minutes every single day, sweating my tail off, like hood up. Like I just hated every bit of that. I was like, oh, and then I found group fitness. And I remember taking my first like group workout. It was a boot camp in Germany. We were stationed there, and I freaking fell in love because like we were using battle ropes and all kinds of, ball slams, and I would run with like, resistant bands and get nowhere. And I felt so challenged. Right. And then I started really seeing that weight come off, but I felt community. I felt support, which is what group fitness it brings to the table. And then it just spiraled, right? Like you're a boss, I'm a boss, we bossed up, and I was like, what's this whole strength training thing called? And like, how can I really put on muscle so that I'm burning fat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And I just, then I went and got certified because I just wanted to know. This was all before I even became a coach. I was like, I just want to like learn. Got certified, got all of that. And who would have thought that too would have put me into a business? I mean, you guys, before this, I was in marketing and HR, right? So it's like full circle that I love that fitness really does. Fitness empowers you. Fitness, motivates you. It drives you. It challenges you mentally and physically. And there's so many benefits to moving your body, right? Crystal,
absolutely.
Come back. She has got some really cool things in the works that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how, she's put her passion for fitness and travel, put it together, mashed it together, supports trainers like me for a bigger vision. So we're going to be right back, and we'll talk about that next.
Not just talk, conversation for profound self-awareness. Stick with us. Your best life awaits on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
What did you say your name was?
Hey, you guys, we are back, and we are talking with Krista Swenson. And we were actually just laughing during break because if you guys are watching this live or you're catching this on the replay, she's got like her normal, amazing, bronzy tan color on. And I'm like stuck in the middle of nowhere, New Mexico, like white as a ghost, waiting for sunshine to like just be warm enough that I can catch a tan. But we're loud about it. She's like, oh, this is my normal color. I'm like, oh, Lordy. Yeah, you would definitely know that she was the travel agent who gets to go and experience 5-star luxury resorts all over the world. So with that, welcome back back to the show, and I want to just get right into it. So you've taken your passion for fitness and travel, mashed it together, reached out to, fitness trainers and health coaches and all kinds of amazing entrepreneurial women, I think. And you sent me a DM and you're like, this is what I got going on. And I was like, yes, sign me up. Heck yes. So tell us about what you're doing in 2022 and how women can get involved.
Yes, absolutely. So we have 2 fitness vacations coming up. And one is, of course, hosted by yours truly, Carissa. And I'm so excited because I was able to visit this resort just recently, and it's a beautiful resort. And so I really think that just the whole wellness, it's just going to encompass everything wellness. And so you're really going to enjoy it. But yes, fitness vacation. So we're putting up groups, small groups, and we are having a professional trainer, coach, host these groups. So you, instead of being cooped up like we have been for the last couple of years, and instead of being virtual, for the last few years, which is great. I love that it has brought people together that maybe wouldn't normally be able to connect, but we need that face-to-face time. And so why not? Why not take a 4-day, 3-night little weekend getaway and enjoy a 5-star resort, but be able to connect with like-minded people who are on a similar journey that you are, learn how to vacation and be well. So many people are like, well, I'm going on vacation, I got to lose 10 pounds. Well, don't just lose your weight for the vacation. Learn how to vacation to keep the weight off. That way you don't have to come back and be like, now I got to lose 20 pounds.
I love that. So yeah, it's all inclusive, 4 days. What I love most about this is it does encompass so much, right? So
yes.
women really are craving support now more than ever. They are craving community. We are craving to get out of town. I know I'm like, come on, June, right? Like I need this just as much as these ladies. But what can women expect while they're on? Because I think I'm blessed enough to go on lots of vacations, to take those, all-inclusive resorts. That's the only way I've traveled now, is where I'm like all-inclusive. But what can women expect while they're on this? Because it's not all fitness. It's definitely not like push.
Yep. Fitness is just kind of what we're centering it around is fitness and wellness. But yes, you're going to have a great meet and greet. So you get to meet all the travelers and the other participants along with your coach. What's nice is that I will partner with various coaches and trainers. So it's really what is their wheelhouse. And so, you're going to have workouts, you're going to have workshops. So maybe you're going to learn how to set goals and how to achieve them, how to eat mindfully, just different things. Maybe it's even about relationships, how to better your relationships, how to better your relationship with yourself, just various things. So it really depends on the trainer and what their expertise is, because that's what I love. I don't have to come up with this stuff. There are so many amazing women out there that are teaching others, and they have that servitude leadership. That's what I'm looking for. Like, we all want our fellow women to be better and treat themselves better, because we tend to treat everybody first and us last. So take a weekend, treat yourself. You're going to still get, it's all not workshops and workouts. You still get to enjoy the pool. You still get to enjoy the beach, each other, nap if you want to, your house free time. But one thing that I do want to include is like spa treatments will be included in a package, or maybe there's a group excursion. That's something, maybe it's tailored toward, what the coach is talking about and whatnot. Maybe a cenote. We are starting with Mexico. And we can try to talk about why in a sec, but their cenotes are amazing. I just visited one, and I tell you, I was amazed. I don't know that I've ever seen anything so beautiful and so calming. It was just so serene. So things like that are going to be included. Maybe some adventure, if it's an adventure trip. I don't know. There's just so much that we can do with it. But I just believe that women need this right now. And why not treat ourselves?
Now more than ever. You ladies, I mean, she did nail it, but and she said, you kind of have free reign, Chris. Of course, my brain went all kinds of directions. I was like, well, I know I need physical fitness, right? Because at the end of the day, like that is what I love to do. But I'm like, I'm a mindset, like I'm all about that. So then I was like, which workshops do I want to do? And all I can see is I've been manifesting like a vision like this for a long time. My personal clients have been like, Carissa, we want retreats. We want meditations. We want, these 5-star meals. You're always teaching us how to be mindful with our food. Like nothing screams more mindfulness around food when you're sitting there on a resort. I'm telling you guys, we eat differently when we're sitting there, right? We listen to the water. We tune into the conversations. We don't have our phone technically tied to our hip. Like we are mindful eating when we're on vacation. And that's what I try and teach my ladies on the outside of vacations. But yeah, I'm thinking fireside chats. I'm thinking, teaching women how to boss up and become the champion mentally and physically and emotionally. So you guys, I'm super stoked. My, the retreat that I guess I'm the host of is on June 23rd through the 26th. You can sign up below. The notes, in the sections below are obviously more information about this event. So you mentioned Mexico, right? Why are we starting in Mexico? What are some I've got a trip to Greece coming up too. And I'm like, I don't even know. Do I need a COVID shot? Like what's going on? Tell us the ins and outs about the restrictions right now.
Yeah, the restrictions vary, wherever you go. So I've chosen Mexico just because they do have the easier restrictions. So to get in and out of the United States, I mean, obviously, if you're coming back into the US requires a negative COVID result within 24 hours. And the resorts that I will be booking us into will always include that on site. So that's part of the package. So you don't have to worry about that. If somebody has had COVID, we talk about that. If somebody does get COVID on vacation, there's a process for that. And if there's concerns around that, reach out to me because we can talk it through. I have been to Mexico twice in the last 5 months. I've been very blessed. And so I've seen it. I've seen it all and I know how to handle it. But don't be worried or don't let that stop you. Let's talk it through. But you know what? All these resorts are very, they're responsible. You want to wear a mask, wear a mask. I do when I'm there. I tend to wear one depending on, the situation at the beach, maybe not, but it's up to you. There's no judgment. Okay.
I really love, because I thought about that. I'm like, okay, so so you're telling me like the resort right there will allow you to get your test, that 24 hours park. They know you're kind of going. You're also, I think, taking care of all the travel accommodations from literally land to resort. Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't include the airfare just because everybody's coming from different locations. I can help with the airfare, but that, is not included in the package price. But yes, transfers from the airport to the resort and back are included. Okay. The only other thing that really isn't included is travel protection. I do highly recommend it, but that's another thing that just isn't included.
Okay. So if someone wanted to book this trip, if someone, besides going to this link, you could help them book the airfare. You could help them get that insurance that they need. You'll set them up. You mentioned investment, or you kind of did, kind of not. I know for a fact that there's an early bird going on right now. Tell us how much money people can save if they book by when.
Yes, right now we're going to have a little bit more going on, but our biggest early bird promo is if you do book, and that's just your deposit. You don't have to pay it in full. As long as your deposit is put down before on or before March 31st, you will get $200 off the room, each room. So if it's a single, it's $200 off your package rate. If you are going to double up, then it would be, basically $100 per person, $200 for that room. So $200 off, it's pretty good. So, and it's just to get your deposit down and just make that commitment that you're going to go. And then we can have a payment plan. There's one on the site. There's already one kind of built in, but if you need something different, I'm here to make sure that you're successful and that you feel successful. So if that doesn't work, reach out to me. We'll figure something out. We'll set something up.
I love it. Close, intimate vacations with females who are all about empowerment and inspiration and want to, stay fit, but also have a really good time, right? Like I love the water volleyball. I love the swim up bars and the drinks and the food. It's going to be awesome. I Cannot wait. Krista, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm so excited to partner with you and hopefully many in the future, right?
Yes.
And you guys, if you're listening, Krista, where's the best place that they can go to just find you in general? They want to stalk you a little bit. Where
you can just find me on social media, Facebook or Instagram. I'm at Krista Jo, Kristajo.
Awesome. Well, you guys, that is it for Boss Up Babes today. If you are interested in that, that vacation, reach out to us. I'm also going to be posting it in the Healthy Hustle Facebook group, which you are all invited to join. That's for, that is the Healthy Hustle. You will always, this vacation is pinned up at the top. So if you're wanting in, get in now, save $200 before that price goes up. $500 gets you in. All right, you guys, go out and have a beautiful day. Get yourself some jewelry at 20% off and then go book your vacation.
There you go.
I love you guys so much. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Boss Up Babes with Carissa Adkins, bringing you tangible tips and expert coaching advice to help you boss up and get healthy. Tune in every second and fourth Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com for interviews with industry leaders and powerhouse boss babes that will empower you to take action and live your best life. If you're ready to boss up and work with Carissa in one of her transformative group coaching programs, visit 365dailyhustle.com.